It has been one heck of a couple of weeks for Nikola Corporation. First, there was the damning report against it from short sellers Hindenburg Research, which led into admissions that one particular video of the Nikola One driving down a road was actually footage of a Nikola One rolling down a hill. I'm not going to reiterate the report here. We've already made a video on that. You can watch it here if you're interested. But the fallout from that report is still very much radioactive. On Monday, Trevor Milton, co-founder of Nikola Motor, stepped down from his executive chairman role, claiming that he wanted the focus to be not on him, but the company. He walked away with $3.1 billion of shares in Nikola Corporation and then promptly all but disappeared from social media and online, an action which most people are viewing as a tacit admission of guilt and maybe something that will ultimately have the opposite effect on Nikola than he perhaps intended, hastening its demise rather than causing himself to be distanced from the company, especially his interesting management style. Today, I've become even more convinced that Nikola's future is doomed after hearing the latest in a multi-year court battle between Nikola Corporation and Tesla, in which Tesla stands accused of copying various design patents granted to Nikola for its Nikola One Class 8 big rig. Design patents, to be super clear in this case, relating to things like the wraparound windscreen, mid-mounted driver door, and the way that the various elements of the truck's design are tied together. This has got nothing to do with drivetrain, fuel sources, or power electronics. And as a disclaimer, I am not a lawyer and I don't play one or claim to know the legal system. So what follows is my layperson's opinion based off many hours of journalistic research. As a quick refresh, Nikola took Tesla to court shortly after Tesla unveiled its Tesla Semi 3 years ago. Nikola claimed that Tesla was copying elements of vehicle design which it had patents to, and it was seeking $2 billion in damages. At the same time, it did seem like a patent troll case, but as we discovered when Andrew Torres from the Opening Arguments podcast joined us earlier this year for a special to discuss the case, again, you'll find a link here, Nikola's claims of patent infringement did appear to be gaining some kind of traction, especially after several attempts by Tesla to have the case thrown out, arguing with both the courts and the US Patent and Trademark Office that the original patents granted to Nikola should have never been granted in the first place, failed. As with any similar case, the defendant in a patent case has to prove that the specific idea that was patented either already existed or was not unique in its application or design. This sadly is made far more complicated than just going, oh well, somebody already did something similar. This is because prior work, things which either influence the thing you're trying to patent or something that is similar but not the same, can be noted in the patent application, and if you can prove that what you're doing is oh so very different or has a different purpose, then maybe, just maybe, you'll get away with a patent anyway. Which brings us to exactly what Andrew and many of you suggested would happen when we covered this spat back in May. Tesla has come back with more proof that Nikola's patents should be invalidated because there's a lot of other people who had that idea first. And to do this, Tesla is claiming prior art using designs made by someone who works for another well-known electric car company, Rimac. In the new filings submitted to the court yesterday, Tesla's counsel says that Nikola's claims are false because of a truck called the Road Runner Concept, a vehicle that was powered by hydrogen and entered into the 2010 Michelin Design Challenge, and was ultimately chosen for display at the 2010 North American International Auto Show. The designer of that concept vehicle was Adriano Mudri, the same Adriano Mudri who was director of design at Croatian electric hypercar company Rimac. While some outlets are stopping at that point, however, I should note that the court papers filed by Tesla are far more in-depth than citing just one prior example of a wraparound windscreen and aerodynamic truck application with the doors halfway down the vehicle. So it is time for a history lesson and to look at some of the vehicles that Tesla claims in its rebuttal have existed long before Nikola came along. And while I am no lawyer, patent or otherwise, I'm going to be honest with you. It doesn't look good for Nikola because Tesla's done its research and frankly, it shows. In addition to the Roadrunner concept, Tesla throws in the MAN Concept S-Truck, a vehicle which debuted in September 2010. It has a sweeping aerodynamic front which, while not quite as shallow an angle as the one found on the Tesla Semi or Nikola One, clearly focuses on an aerodynamic feel, and it has its cab doors further back than a traditional big rig does. Then there is the Shell Airflow Starship truck, a Class 8 big rig which hit the headlines a few years ago for doing a coast-to-coast road trip across the US, fully laden, yet managing to achieve a fuel efficiency of 178.4 ton-miles per gallon, a 2.5 times improvement from the US average of 72 ton-miles per gallon. And yes, in case you're wondering, ton-miles per gallon is a measurement of fuel economy per ton of payload carried. If you want actual miles per gallon of the truck, it was about 8.94 miles per gallon for Airflow Starship, which is a massive improvement on the 6.5 miles per gallon that most US big rigs manage. The eager among you will notice that the Shell Airflow Starship truck hit the headlines in 2018, which is 2 full years after Nikola debuted its Nikola One design. However, the Airflow Starship project had been in development for many years before that point, and, as the name suggests, was born out of a partnership with the Airflow Truck Company. That company was founded in 1983 by an owner-operator truck driver who was eager to make his trucks more fuel efficient in order to save him money. That truck company has alone been responsible for 4 different Airflow aerodynamic trucks: the Super Truck concept from 2011, the Future Truck design concept from 2011, the Bullet Truck test vehicle from 2012, and the aforementioned Starship truck. Admittedly, some of the Airflow truck designs don't really qualify as being all that similar to the design being fought over by Nikola and Tesla, but there are others mentioned in Tesla's filing that do have some significant design similarities to the Nikola One, and they predate Nikola's patent filing. And that's before we even talk about the US DOE's Heavy Vehicle Aerodynamic Drag Consortium, which was founded in 1997 and included researchers from Livermore, the University of Southern California, California Institute of Technology, several haulage and truck manufacturing companies, and NASA Ames Research Center. Sorry, Nikola wasn't first. Finally, let's take a look at the other thing, a claim Tesla makes in its filing that seems to put a nail in the coffin of Nikola's claims, and frankly in the career of Trevor Milton, or rather, based on what we now know about similar allegations made against Milton in the past, it seems completely in character. Tesla alleges that Milton met with Adriano Mudri, the designer of the Roadrunner concept we mentioned earlier in the video, sometime during 2014 or 2015. As a consequence, alleges Tesla's counsel, Milton was aware of the Roadrunner truck design and therefore was well aware that Nikola's patent application was not unique in its design. In fact, Tesla argues that Milton had, quote, deceptive intent and did not name Mudri as either an inventor of prior design or an influence in the design of Nikola One. Tesla argues that had the patent been filed properly by Nikola, citing the Roadrunner as prior art or influence, then the patent it is now trying to sue Tesla over would never have been granted. As I've said before in this video, I'm not a patent expert or a lawyer, but as a layperson looking in with all of this prior development showing that Nikola didn't have a unique design from day one, well, it doesn't look good at all for Nikola. And if you combine this with everything else Nikola has been accused of in just the last few weeks, some of which has essentially been confirmed to be true, well, I frankly do not see Nikola hanging around for much longer. With the Securities and Exchanges Commission and the Department of Justice still looking into the company, and one Wall Street analyst announcing that Nikola stock is now, quote, too risky to own, I don't know any way out of this for Nikola. That's it for today's video. Thanks for joining me, and I'll see you next time.